Let's jump right in, talk about your announcement today. On the past few days, including today, you've announced some efforts, right, to stop medical debt from affecting credit scores. Do you worry, though, that this sweeping change might have people or stopping people from paying their medical debt, perhaps?
Oh, no, I don't. I think that it's really important to trust the American people. Mm-hmm. And when you think about the issue of medical debt, it comes about because of a medical emergency, right? I was earlier talking to a North Carolinian who accumulated tens of thousands of dollars in medical debt because she had breast cancer, and then it ended up resulting in other ailments, and then she basically, her doctors, because she couldn't pay, stopped it. She had other and it was just an awful story of a human experience around something they didn't invite or ask for, right? And what it does in terms of how it weighs on people, and the whole point of it is to say, it's really pretty simple, which is this. The credit score is supposed to be a measure of whether you are financially responsible. Medical debt comes about mostly because of a medical emergency that no one asks for. So it's only fair that that medical debt could not be on your credit score, and that's what we have done. We're saying credit scores cannot include medical debt because that's just not right. And everybody knows their credit scores. You got an app, you can learn that, you know that number by heart, right? The credit score will determine whether you can qualify for a lease on an apartment or a home loan or a car loan. And is that right to have somebody who has had a medical emergency not be able to have access to those other things because their credit score is so low due to medical debt?
I heard you say people that credit score like another way.
They do. It's true. It's true, especially with all the mobile apps now. I mean, you can just look at it, right?
The economy is one of the voters' top concerns. Obviously, polls out today show inflation is slowing. Yeah. Why do you think, though, with recent polling numbers, that potentially the policies maybe aren't resonating with some of the base or some of the Americans here in the United States?
Listen, first of all, I think that we know that it takes time for people to feel the policies. But when I travel our country, and I am traveling all over our country, including this beautiful state, people talk to me about what we've done in terms of capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month and for our seniors, and how it is a game changer for them. How so many of our seniors had to make a decision about whether they could afford to fill their prescription for insulin or fill their refrigerator, and now that is not an issue. What we have done to say Medicare can now negotiate drug prices against the big pharmaceutical companies, and that we can cap annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. That's a big deal. What we have done around debt, big deal. What we have done in terms of looking at the whole person and understanding that we need to pay attention to the cost of living, everyday costs. I think this is something that people care about, but it takes time for people to feel it. What we are doing in terms of, we have historic low unemployment. We've created over 15 million new jobs, over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, including right here in North Carolina. We've created over 450,000 new jobs in North Carolina alone.
We just learned Hamas has responded to the U.S.-backed proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza. They're looking at making some amendments to it. Do you know where negotiations stand today, and are you confident that a ceasefire deal could be reached?
We are working around the clock to get a deal done, and in fact, the Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, is in the region as we speak, working on that. We have got to get a ceasefire, we've got to get those hostages out, and we must stay focused on also the day after and what will bring security and stability to that part of the region, both for Israelis and for the Palestinian people.
Let's jump into Decision 2024. A Democrat hasn't won North Carolina since 2008. What would make this year different?
Well, we are spending the resources and the time here. Listen, the people of North Carolina are just extraordinary people, and I spent a lot of time here because when I think about the work that we are doing around creating access to capital, putting billions of dollars more in access to capital and to small banks, North Carolina, I've been here in Raleigh and Durham talking about that. Yeah. And the leaders of these communities know the kind of work we are doing, and they are appreciative. Think about it in terms of Josh Stein, and the last time I was here spent time with him, I believe it was the last time, but in Raleigh. Yeah. And what we are doing to bring down medical care costs, right? And I think that the people of North Carolina know that these are big issues. And when we address them, that it matters, and that's the kind of leadership they want. They want leaders who see the problems and then go about doing something about it, not leaders who create problems.
Last thing, we'll leave it on a fun note here.
Okay.
Olympics is on our air.
Yes,
as you know.
yes.
You've met a ton of amazing superstars that are about to head over
It's so
to
exciting.
Paris. What inspirational stories should Americans look out for that you'd like, I guess?
Well, there's so many. I'm not going to name any one person, but there are so many. But here's the thing. What I love about our Team USA is they really are the best of the best. And, there's so much right now that sadly, there are forces that in some ways are trying to divide us as a country. That at this moment where that is happening is also the year of the Olympics. I do believe that sports is one of those things, especially when we're talking about Team USA, that brings the country together. And I think we need that. I think people want that. And so the idea that we're going to be cheering on these incredible American athletes and they are going to go on to win the gold is something to look forward to, and I think is a source of joy for a lot of people, and that's important.
Thank you.
Thank you
for your time.